Uh, Wait, did I start recording?
Yeah, you can just press.
Okay, good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Okay, can you hear me well?
Yeah,
Okay, so I know last time we talked about a little bit about transition or life after high school. What grade are you now? 12, right?
yeah, 12.
So that's why we talked about transition last time because we know a year from now you'll be different. You'll be dealing with something different, right?
Yep,
Life different, being an young adult like we talked about last time, etc. Right?
yep, going
So,
to a secondary high school.
oh, going to a secondary high school. Yes, we talked about going to a secondary high school last time, and that is
College.
college. Wow. Thank you for reminding me that what we talked about last time. Okay, so among all of those things we talked about after high school, you have talked about going to the secondary high school, right?
Yep,
And then going to work,
yes,
and then living by yourself,
yes.
right? So, have you thought about who will help you do these things?
Uh, for getting a job, it would be the people like Mr. Giannis, or like as my first job, it would be Mr. Giannis versus someone from the school helping out, doing my resume and other things like that. But as um, as I get my second job or the job that I actually want, I'll probably just have to do the resume and all that other things by myself.
Okay. All right. Good answer. Great answer. I know you talked about somebody in your school who is going to help you with some things. Who is that?
Mr. Giannis, the transition coordinator.
The transition coordinator. I know he sometimes he refers to himself as the transition what? Teacher, right?
Yeah.
But officially he's the transition coordinator. So that is the one person that's gonna help you connect with so many other things out there, right?
Yeah, including doors.
Including doors. And that is during this time. What about after this time, after high school? Have you thought about how you're gonna get seek help?
It'll probably be from the disabilities office or just directly asking the teacher.
Okay. Just directly asking the teacher.
Yeah.
Who's gonna ask the teacher?
I will.
Huh?
I will.
You will. Paul will. Say Paul will. I'm just messing with you. Don't say Paul will. Okay. All right. So that is about college and then work, independent living. Remember, we talked about living in your own apartment, right?
Yep.
So you'll be talking with different people, right?
Yeah.
So that will be the topic of today. Self advocacy.
Great.
Self means who?
Myself.
Yourself. So by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to explain what self advocacy is and why it is important in your post secondary life by completing some activities here, right?
Okay.
We have about 5 activities. I expect you to be able to complete like 4 out of 5 successfully. If you do 5 out of 5, that will be awesome, Paul. Okay?
Okay.
All right? So, and I want you, like, when you speak up, when you speak to me, when you speak during this lesson, I want you to speak up a little bit, right?
Yep.
That's the same thing you might find yourself doing out there. Raising your voice a little bit so that people can hear your words well, right?
I always
Like-
do this in speech and debate.
I know. Oh, in speech and debate.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in speech and debate. You share that with me, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll start by reviewing some of the words we covered last. I know last time we talked about we covered some vocabulary. I know we covered transition.
Yeah.
We also covered post-secondary or post-school life. That's why you came up with the secondary high school for college, right?
Yep.
And then we talked about transition planning,
Yeah.
right? Talking about the areas of transition planning, which was education and training, employment, and independent living. That's why we keep on talking about that, right?
Yep.
And then we talked about pre-ETS, and that is pre-employment training services. which are some of the job exploration activities
Yep.
students with disabilities should do, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then we talk about voc rehab or vocational rehabilitation, and it's on your next page of your paper. I know you have your glasses. Are your glasses helping you?
Yeah.
Okay, they're helping you, and then the pages are magnified to size 18 or 20, right?
I think it's 20.
20, it's 20 now. So, vocational rehabilitation is what? Can you read there for me?
Vocational rehabilitation is made up of a series of services that are designed to facilitate the entrance into or return to the work by people with disabilities. It is referred to as voc, voc rehab.
Voc rehab. Yes, we talked about voc rehab as those a series of services designed to facilitate entrance into work. For you, is entering into work. Return to work is for people who have been out because they had a disability, right?
Or injured.
Or injured, and they are trying to get to work. But for us, for students coming out of high school, is entering into work with their disability, right?
Yep.
So today we have some additional words. If you can turn to the next page. The first word I've checked, or I put a check on all those words that we're going to cover today. There are about 5. And the first one is community agency. What is a community agency?
A person, a public or a private nonprofit organization, or a firm, partnership, or business corporation operated for profit which operates a human service program at a community level. Students will list at least 2 community agencies that will meet their interest and or needs.
Yes, I know we identified one agency last time. Which one was that?
Doors.
Doors, okay? So we are going to explore this one further as we continue with our lesson, with our activity for this topic, okay? And then the next word is self-advocacy. What is it? And I can read that for you because you read the other one, right?
Okay.
Self-advocacy. Speaking up for yourself to get the tools you need to be successful. It involves making decisions and knowing how to get the information you need. Okay? They all begin from what word? Self, right? Right? Self-advocacy is, it all starts with you speaking up for yourself, right?
Basically communication.
Communication. We are going to look at all of those skills. Okay, you want to go to the next word, next vocabulary, or next word?
Vital information.
Adult.
Adult service providers.
Yes.
Agencies that provide comprehensive services to adults with disabilities. Some examples include employment,
Recreational.
Recreational and community-based support.
Okay. All right. And we have already talked about some of the agencies, other service providers, like areas that you're going to go for recreational and community-based supports, right?
Yep.
And you're going to read more about that. The next one is vital information. What does vital mean to you?
Important.
Important. So that is information that is required to fill out forms and applications. Tell me one area you'll be filling out forms and applications.
Doctor's office.
You've been doing forms in doctor's office, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that you're giving your important information. Where will you be filling out important information after high school, Paul?
The DMV.
BNB?
DMV.
DMV, okay. DMV for Department of Motor Vehicle, right?
Yep.
Do you plan on driving?
Not really, but I kind of need to fill that out for my ID.
For your state ID, correct. So where else do you think vital information will be required?
Your resume.
Your resume. Thank you. Anywhere else?
Basically anywhere.
What about when you are applying for college?
Yeah.
You need that information, right?
Yep.
Where else? Apartment.
Yeah.
Do you think they need your vital information?
Yeah. Your bank account.
Bank accounts, exactly. We can learn the list we cannot go over the list, but it's long because life after high school is just about things that you need as you move along. So you might be dealing with college as beginning with college application. Then down the road you find yourself filling out an apartment application. Down the road you find yourself filling a job application, etc. Right?
Yep.
So some of those things will come as you go, right?
Yep, just a ton of paperwork.
Paperwork, computer work, right?
Yep.
Next word.
Disabilities?
Yes.
Any condition of the body or mind impairment that makes it more difficult for a person with a condition to do certain activities. Disabilities can be physical or cognitive.
Or cognitive, exactly. So that's a condition that impedes or gets in the way of somebody doing something, right? In this case, for somebody like Paul, what kind of disability are we talking about?
Vision.
Vision, okay? So I know we are doing so many kind of things to go over the barriers that we are facing. Like now you have the prescription glasses with you, right?
Yeah.
You also have your giant screen Chromebook.
Yep.
What else do you have that you can use?
I mean, I could just use the Chromebook to take a picture and zoom in of paper or copy assignments, or just use the Chromebook with the zoom in feature.
The zooming feature on your Chromebook. I like the idea that you are capable of utilizing the features of your, or you are comfortable with using the features of your Chromebook, right?
Yeah.
Do you at some point use a magnifier? Or have you used it in the past?
No.
But you have it available though, just in case?
Yeah.
I know sometimes your glasses may not be working, right?
Yeah.
So would a magnifier help?
In some cases, but generally no.
Okay, all right. In case you need it, we make it available for you, okay?
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. So those are the
You know.
5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the 5 words I wanted us to look at today as we talk about self-advocacy. All right.
Okay.
So I'll give you a chance to watch a video, a 3-minute video about self-advocacy, so that at least we can be on the same page, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's right here, and you can make it large screen, giant screen, large screen, and boom.
Self-advocacy. How do I ask for help? Have you ever been in a classroom and been given an assignment and you didn't really know how to get started? Were you afraid to ask for help? Were you afraid for others to know that you were having difficulty? Or maybe you might be at home doing homework and you might be confused. Your parents might say to you, you need to go to school and advocate for yourself. You need to ask for help. Self-advocacy is speaking up for yourself when you need help with something. Easier said than done, right?
Okay, go ahead.
Here are some helpful hints that will help you advocate for yourself. Ready? Go. Helpful hint number 1. Believe in yourself. You are worth it. You are smart, and you are capable of doing great things. Sometimes there are certain things that are more challenging for us. Those are the things that you just need to practice, and you also need to ask for help. Helpful hint number 2. Determine where you are having trouble. Then, write a statement describing what you need help with. Some sentence starters might be, would it be okay if I talk to you? I would like to ask you some questions about this assignment. I am having trouble understanding this. May I stay after class to speak with you? Helpful hint number 3. Figure out who is the best person to talk to. Who do you feel more comfortable with? It might be a teacher, it might be a counselor, or a principal, or a coach. It might even be a classmate. Helpful hint number 5. Set up a meeting with that person. Don't be nervous. They are here to help you. It might sound silly, but practice what you want to talk about. You might practice in front of a mirror. You might practice in front of a family member. But practicing it will make you more comfortable when you talk with that person. Helpful hint number 6. Write down any suggestions that you receive from that person. Sometimes we get nervous and we forget what is discussed. You might want to bring a notepad with you and write down any suggestions that that person might give you. That way you can go back and look it all over when you're done. If you don't think you're having any trouble right now, then you can just do a check-in with your teacher. It's always helpful to check in every couple of weeks to see if there's any work that you might be missing, or if there's any work that you could redo or revise. So start thinking, what subject could I improve in? What assignments do I need help with? And who do I feel comfortable talking to about this? When you self-advocate for yourself, you are letting everyone know that you are taking charge of your learning. You are capable of doing anything you set your mind to. With some practice and some help from some cooperative people, you can succeed at anything you want.
Okay. All right. What did you learn from that video, Paul?
Basically nothing.
Basically nothing.
Yes.
Why do you say basically nothing? Tell me a little bit about that.
It was all surface level advice that you could dot up by yourself for if you spent 3 seconds thinking.
Oh, I hear what you're saying, but I know when you go out there in the field, you'll be meeting people that you have never met before, right?
Yes.
I know, like here in high school, you already know whom to talk to. Like you just shared with me one person you can talk to when you have a question about going to about post-secondary goals, right?
Yeah.
Who was that?
Mr. Giannis,
The what?
the transition coordinator.
The transition coordinator, right?
Yes.
Because you know what you need. Who else do you go to when you need something? Yeah, at Blake High School.
The counselor,
The counselor. For what?
either for revising my schedule or just checking things for high school, like if I need certain things like recommendation letters or something like that.
Yes. So the reason why I'm going over this is because Paul, when we are talking about these questions, like the questions we are going to talk about next, I want you to give yourself some time to think about them, because you may think that you can be able to resolve this issue very easily, but when you sit back, you're like, oh my goodness, I was supposed to have identified what I need first. Or maybe I thought the transition coordinator can help me, but I realized no, this is a guidance counselor question, right? Or this is my classroom teacher question. Or this is the school secretary question. It's not for the transition coordinator, right?
Yeah.
So whenever you're thinking about how to go off a resolution of a problem, you are advised to sit back and think and plan, right? So, and that is the context of the next activity. I want you to go to the next handout there, steps to self-advocacy, because as we continue planning for this post-secondary life, we'll be practicing some things so that when you go out there, you don't even have to think about Mr. Kimari. I need to go to Mr. Kimari because I already have developed some things that I need to look at before I resolve this problem, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here are some steps to self-advocacy, and I want us to go over each of the first of the steps. You have like 5 steps,
Sure.
and the first step is what? Step number 1.
Identify the problem.
Identify the problem. What does that look like?
So basically, if you're failing math, talk to the math teacher.
Okay.
If you're having trouble with English, why why are you having trouble with it, then ask the teacher if it's possible to solve the problem you're having trouble with, like you not putting periods in your paragraphs. You can ask the teacher if it's possible. If it's possible to fix that, like get a spell check or grammar check website or something.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that explosive answer, right? Expanded answer, for example, and because that one covers even step 2. But I want us to go back to step 1. Like, what is the problem right there?
You having trouble with an assignment, or in the real world, you having trouble with communication between two people.
Okay, all right. Let's stop right there. Let's pause right there. The problem here, like and this can happen either in high school or in college. You have a problem in math, right?
Yep.
And in college, you can also have the same problem. A problem with a math problem in college, right? So that is the problem itself. And all you need to do for step 1 is, I have known the problem, so what do I need to do? You said it well, I need to contact my math teacher, right?
Yep.
That is how you do step 1. Now step 2, who can help you? Right? For that problem, for number 1 problem, the math problem, you already know who can help you, right?
Yeah.
But in life, if you read along with me, can you read that small paragraph there?
We have lots of supports in our lives, including ourselves. Sometimes we need help from others who may have more information or less experience than we do.
Okay, so we have already addressed this, but we just need to identify the person who has the pertinent or the respective information that we need. Our guidance counselor may have some information, our transition coordinator may have some information, our school teacher may have, our class teacher may have some information, right? But when you're talking about, for example, college application, you know, of course, you want to talk with Mr. Yanis, your transition teacher, right? Because he has more information about some of the colleges you want to apply to, right?
Yep.
Or he knows about how to apply with the doors, right?
Yep.
So that is what they are talking about, step 2, who can help you. Step 3.
Have confidence.
Have confidence. What can happen if you advocate for yourself? What can happen if you don't?
Well, if I didn't, I would fail math.
If you didn't, you'd fail math. If you did,
then I would probably get somewhere around an A or a B.
Okay, all right. Let's look at the college, after college, high school, after college, for example. You want to ask about accommodation in a hostel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and they are saying they are only giving a certain number of people, right?
Yep.
And if you really want to get an accommodation in the hostel, so, and you see, like, if you advocate for yourself, there are chances you're gonna get a room, right?
Yes.
If you don't, what's gonna happen?
Then you're not getting the apartment.
You are not going to get the hostel or the apartment, and that means what?
That means you're basically homeless.
Basically, you have to look for other ways of getting accommodation, right? And I know if you're staying in state, maybe you are in a college that is near your house.
Yeah.
So you might decide, oh, I had said I want, like last time you said, I might want to go live away from my parents, right?
Yep.
Is that what you said last time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you said something like that. So if you had thought of if you had thought of staying in the dorms and not staying with your parents, then you don't advocate for yourself and you don't get an accommodation in campus. So you might have to go back to where? To stay with
stay with my parents.
With your parents, and you'll be a what? A commuter student. You know what a commuter student is,
Yeah,
right?
you basically just go from house to school or school to house.
But was that your original intention?
Nope.
No. So if you advocated for yourself, you could have gotten that apartment. Because you did not, then you go back to what you didn't want, right?
Yep.
So that is how, what makes a difference between somebody who is advocating for themselves and who is not. I want us to turn to the next page. Turn to page 4. Thank you, Paul. The next step number 4 is what?
Speak up.
Speak up. What does speak up means?
How,
In simple terms.
how will you ask? What will you say? In some instances, this is something you can practice and prepare for.
Okay. That goes to the same question we had before. You said, oh, that is something I didn't have to learn from the video. But we see that sometimes you have to practice. You have to back down. You thought you knew everything, but at the same time you see, oh, so there's a way I could not get an apartment, right? From the school. There's a way, if I did it, there's a way I could have obtained residence on campus. And there's a way that could not happen. That could fail to happen, right?
Yeah, or if there's a certain clause in your teaching contract that you don't agree with, you can just talk to the person who gave you the contract.
Okay.
Or your boss.
Or your boss, right? So speaking up. You just have to prepare how you're gonna ask for the help, right?
Yep.
And the right words. What will you say? What are examples of some right words?
For the teaching example?
You can use for the teaching example or for the dorm example.
I'll go with the teaching example.
Okay, teaching example, okay.
Something along the lines of, I don't believe this clause in my contract meets my needs at this level of teaching and requires a higher, I would say, what would be higher?
Talking about payment?
No,
Pay.
not payment, but
Skills?
yeah,
Qualification?
higher qualifications for this job.
Uh-huh.
So something along those lines.
Okay. Alright. So, and in some instances, thank you, Paul, for sharing that example. Okay? I see you are preparing for the way ahead, right?
Yep.
Yes, because next year from next year you'll be dealing with those big things.
Unfortunate.
Eh?
Unfortunately.
Is it unfortunately or fortunately?
Depends on how you look
Think
at
about it. Okay, depends on how you are you see it, right?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So you are going to see that it's fortunately most of the time. Sometimes it will be unfortunately because sometimes there's nobody to back you up. Sometimes there's nobody to help you, right?
Yep.
Fortunately because you're gonna advance in your career or in your academic career,
Yeah.
or if it is a job, you're going to be promoted, for example, right?
Yep.
If you speak up, okay? Then you got your job, you got your promotion, you got your room. What's the next step? Go ahead.
Either
Number 5.
say thank you. Always show gratitude for any help you received. People are willing to help you in the future if you know they are appreciated for their efforts.
If you are appreciative for your effort, you are appreciative for their effort, right?
Yeah.
So, read the last line.
Say thank you ensures they will know this.
Those are some of, thank you, Paul. Those are some of the words we say magic words, right?
Yep.
Thank you. If Paul thanked me when I helped him obtain an apartment in college or a dorm in college, although it was only a few spaces available. Next time he asks me something, I remember he is a very grateful person, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, thank you. What is other magical words you use?
Please.
Please. What else? I know some of these words we learned early in school, right?
Yeah.
Like in 3rd grade or 4th grade or those kind of things, right?
Yep.
Please. Thank you. What else?
Not sure.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me, please. Can I pass? Those kind of things.
Yeah.
Those little words we learned back in early years of our schooling.
I barely remember them.
Eh?
I barely remember them.
You barely remember them, but at least you remember them.
Yeah.
Excuse me, right?
Yeah.
And thank you. Thank you is always important. It shows how grateful you are, right? So, as we continue to explore the topic of self-advocacy, I'm sure now, Paul, you can tell me what self-advocacy means to you, right?
Yes, it's basically speaking up for yourself.
It's basically speaking up for yourself. Why is it important for speaking up for yourself?
Then nothing gets accomplished.
Okay. Nothing if you don't. When does it not? When does it not help you?
I mean, unless, there's really no situation where it wouldn't help you.
Okay. It will always help you most of the time, right?
Yeah.
If you speak up for yourself, right? It always helps you attain your what?
Whatever goals you set for
Whatever goals you set up for yourself. So, and going to the steps of self-advocacy, are you able to identify a problem?
yourself.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Are you able to identify who can help you resolve the problem?
Yes.
Right? So, what do you need to be able to talk to that person?
Either a open line of communication or someone who knows that person, or just directly going to them.
Yes. Is confidence needed in this case?
I guess so.
I'm sorry. Self-confidence, having confidence, because there is no way the way you present yourself to me when you're seeking help tells me a lot, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not how does somebody who does not have self-confidence look like?
I would say stuttering over their words and not being direct.
And not being direct, startling, not giving a person your eye contact, right?
Yep.
And definitely, how is that gonna impress on the other person?
It would basically seem unsincere.
Insincere.
Yeah.
Insincere, right? And that is that gonna work for you, or is gonna work against you?
That's gonna work against you.
Most likely, it's not gonna work for you, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. Then you need to speak up, right?
Yep.
How does that help you?
You get your problem addressed, and that's what you're going for.
Yes. Okay. And how do you show the other person that you appreciate them, that you appreciate their help?
Say a thank you or give them a present.
Right?
Yeah. Say thank you or give them a present.
Thank them. There are so many ways you can thank those people. One of them is just saying what?
Thank you.
Thank you. Other people say thank you by doing what?
Giving them a present.
Some people go to the extra mile giving them a present, right?
Show them the Christmas spirit.
Show them for example, during this season of Christmas, you might want to show them the Christmas spirit. But do you always have to give a present though?
No.
Not necessarily. Just a simple word of thank you and being polite go a long way. After you graduate from high school, you're doing your college business, you're seeking help in college, going to the counselors in college, talking to the college professors, looking for a job. When you're going for an interview, you're going to learn about these things when you're practicing job hunting skills, right?
Yep.
And also independent living when you're looking for an apartment. Not now in college. You're not talking about college, or even in college, for example.
Yeah, you still kind of need a job in college to get by.
Okay. All right. So, did we meet today's objective, Paul?
I guess.
Do we know what self-advocacy means now
Yes.
and why we need it?
Yes.
and we can go over some of the steps that we need to self-advocate for yourselves, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Paul. I think we are all done for today. When we meet next time, we are going to continue with some of the steps of post-secondary life, right?
Yep.
Thank you very much for participating.